My name's Max. I'm a member of the Tucker's Meadow Roots Allotment site. I've been here pretty much since the start, not at the very beginning, but sort of like from the first summer. So Roots is an organisation set up by basically 3 local lads, and they pretty much explain themselves as having gone through a sort of similar sort of like pandemic type situation, suddenly find themselves with no access to outside space, and recognising that it was an issue. I grew up outside in a town called Clydebank, outside of Glasgow, and as I got older I got more interested in it, and every now and again I would have a go at growing stuff. I work in healthcare. I'm a radiographer. I'm a diagnostic radiographer as opposed to therapeutic, and I have the luxury of having a window, and everybody might think that's a bit weird, but generally speaking radiology departments and x-ray departments and radio MRI departments don't have any windows at all. So you're in artificial light for 12 plus hours of the day. It's exhausting. The realisation of how much I missed having space, outside space that I could call my own, and where you've got the freedom to do what you want to do with it. I developed problems with my heart. And the cardiologist just said in London, in the absence of any pathology or anything else wrong with your heart, this is caused by long-term chronic fatigue. And apparently it's quite common in healthcare. The way the cardiologist explains it is just like when you go to the gym and you do too many squats and you get a bit of jelly legs because your legs are really fatigued. That's what's happening with your heart when you're exhausted. You might not feel exhausted, but your body's exhausted, your system's exhausted. The realisation, I think, for anyone who suddenly finds themselves in a situation that is, shit, I could die, basically. You know, ultimately, what's the worst case scenario? You're going to have a massive heart attack and you might not come back from it. What am I pushing myself for? Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I working like this? You know, nobody should work like this, you know. It was the tail end of the pandemic, so I was just done. I spent most of the pandemic in Great Ormond Street looking for them, which was fabulous, and I got to do the most amazing stuff. But I was just done. I was just fed up. I was isolated, even from my friends in London, because I lived on my own. And I think in the space of about 24 hours resigned and just said, yeah, it's going to kill me, this. And just recognising for the first time the real sort of effect that having a sense of lack of control over aspects of your own life and how that impacts on your own mental well-being, basically. And then realising that I really wanted to get some access to outside space. Yeah, Roots, when I drove past the site when they were advertising it, was a bit of a revelation, basically, because I was on the waiting list for a council allotment and probably would still be on it if I was still having to wait for them. It's a starter plot, and when Ed showed it to me, I just thought, I've got a farm. Oh my God, you know, they provide an awful lot of help and support and education, which is brilliant. So I grew like tomatoes and chilies and bell peppers and all sorts of things. But as I've progressed from the first year onwards, I've just decided to start going, what else can I grow? I'd also bought 2 really silly little banana trees that were like this yay big, and they just died all the way back, and I thought, well, after the winter the tuber will have just gone to mush. And then, to my absolute shock and horror, all these little sprouts started coming up, and I was like, the banana trees are coming back, and everybody was like, no way. And yeah, it's just so much fun just to see what will grow and how well it does. The allotment just feels like a very sort of special little place to be. It's a lovely community, and it just gives you a greater sense of control. It sort of removes that sort of feeling of helplessness. You know, you just get a huge amount of satisfaction to picking your own food and eating your own food, and it tastes amazing. It's just a big mental rest. It's like a big massive full stop at the end of a sentence. Like, you're here now. You don't need to think about anything else. You know. Yeah, it just feels right. I can't really explain it. It just feels right. It has a really lovely sort of fuzzy feel to it.